Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are now on our final episode of practice test number 8, finishing off module 2 of the math section today. We're going to start here on question 19. The dot plots represent the distributions of values in data sets A and B. Which of the following statements must be true? Okay, so our first option, the median of the data set A is equal to the median of data set B. And then option 2 is the standard deviation of data set A is equal to the standard deviation of data set B. So let's first find the median of each set. So median A and median of B. So median of A, we know, well, first let's count how many values there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 values. So we know that the median is going to be the 17 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 18 divided by 2. So the ninth value of that data set is going to be the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our median is 13, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are also 17 values, so the median is also going to be the ninth value. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is our median again, so this is true. Median of data set A is equal to median of data set B. Now, to check for the standard deviation. So standard deviation is the spread of data from the mean. And since there are, as you can see, an equal number of data points to the right and the left of each side on each of these data sets, they can be classified as symmetric. And since there are more values farther away, like at these points, 10 and 16, which are farther away from the mean of 13, that means that it's going to have a higher standard deviation than data set A, which has a lower standard deviation because most of its values are closer to the mean. So therefore, the standard deviations are not the same, so only option I applies, which will be your answer. Question 20, a circle has center O and points R and S lie on the circle. In triangle ORS, the measure of angle ROS is 88 degrees. What is the measure of RSO in degrees? Okay, so draw your circle. You have your center of O, and then you have points R and S that lie on the circle. So it's saying ROS, angle ROS is 88 degrees. What is the measure of RSO in degrees? So we know that these two side lengths are the same because they are both the radius, since it's going from the center to a point on the circle. That means that these two angles are going to be the same. So if we're looking for RSO, which is this angle right here, we can find that by using the degrees of a certain in a triangle, which is 180. So 88 degrees plus 2 of our same unknown degrees will add up to 180. So subtracting 88 from 180, we get 92. It's equal to 2x. So we get x is equal to 46 degrees. Okay. Next question. Okay, question 21. The regular price of a shirt at a store is $11.70. The sales price of the shirt is 80% less than the regular price, and the sales price is 30% greater than the store's cost for the shirt. What is the store's total cost in dollars for the shirt? So we're looking for the store's cost. So we have to work our way backwards, starting with the regular price and going to the sales price, and then going from the sales price to the store's cost. We're going to want to start with the regular price, which is given as $11.70, and we'll set that equal to the sales price, but we know that the sales price of the shirt is 80% less than the regular price. So we can multiply this by 1 minus 0.8 since it's 80% less than. This will give us 0.2 times $11.70, and this will give us a price of $2.34 for the sales price. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the store's cost, and we'll say the store's cost is a variable C, and we know that we can set it equal to the sales price, but it says the sales price is 30% greater, so it's really C times 1 plus 0.3, since the sales price is 30% greater than the store's cost. So C is equal to 2.34 divided by 1.3, and this is going to give you a value of $1.80. Next question, 22. We have a cube has an edge length of 68 inches. A solid sphere with a radius of 34 inches is inside the cube, such that the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube to the nearest cubic inch. What is the volume of the space in the cube not taken up by the sphere? So I'm going to draw out a little visualization for you. So we have our cube here, and then within the cube, we have our sphere touching on each side. So we have it touching here, here, at the bottom, on that side, on the back too, but it's just a little hard to draw that. So we are going to find the total volume of each shape first. So the volume of the cube is equal to 68 cubed, since it's the side length cubed. So 68 cubed is equal to 314,432. And the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So that will give us 4 times 34 times 34 times 34. And that gives us an answer of 157,216 pi over 3. Now what you're going to do is you're going to subtract these from each other, and you're going to get your answer. So when you subtract these from each other, 314,432 minus 157,216 pi you get an answer of 149,796, which is answer choice A. Okay, next question. 23. One of the equations in a system of two linear equations is given. The system has no solution. Which equation could be a second equation in the system? So if we know that the equations have no solution, we know that the slope m will be the same, and b, the y-intercept, will be different. So we need a slope of 6 and a different y-intercept besides 18. So looking at our answer choices, these are all in standard form, so we're going to convert them to slope-intercept form. So y is equal to 6x plus 18. This is the exact same, so there would be infinite solutions. Same y and same b. This is y is equal to 6x plus 22. And look, this is correct because we have a different y-intercept and the same slope. And I'm going to leave it there because that's all we need for that problem. Question 24, triangles PQR and LMN are graphed in the XY plane. Triangle PQR has vertices P, Q, and R at 4, 5, 4, 7, and 6, 5, respectively. Triangle LMN has vertices LM and N at 4, 5, 4, 7 plus K and 6 plus K, 5, respectively, where K is a positive constant. If the measure of angle Q is t degrees, what is the measure of angle N? Okay, so a very wordy problem. Let's just draw this out so we can visualize it. So we have our plane here. We're going to draw triangle PQR out first. So we know the points they're at. It's 4, 5. I'm going to draw this differently so it's easier. 4, 5, so that would be here. 4, 7 should be like here. And then 6, 5, which would be 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around here. So that would give you this triangle. And then we're looking at triangle LMN, which has vertices 4, 5, so the same as this one. 4, 7 plus K, so 4, we don't know what K is, so it's somewhere on the Y that we don't know, and then 6 plus K, 5, so, and then a point here where we don't know. So with that said, we are looking for angle Q, which is t degrees. What is the measure of angle N? So Q, let me label our points really quick. So we have 4, 5, which is P, 4, 7, which is Q, and then this would be R. So P is equal to unknown, or P is a right angle, sorry. And then we're looking for angle Q, which is t degrees. So what is the measure of angle N? Well, we know that N is going to be the same as R. And we know that R right now is 180 minus 90 minus t, because our angles sum up to 180 degrees. So this is really 90 minus t, which is equal to angle R. So with that, we know that our answer is going to be C. A little difficult to visualize, but pretty much these triangles are going to be the same with respect to their angles. So you can base triangle PQR's angles to find angle N. So 90 minus t is the angle of angle N. Okay. Okay, question number 25. For each real number r, which of the following points lie on the graph of each equation in the xy plane for the given system? So, looking at this system of equations, we need to find a value of points where our r's cancel out and the system of equation is satisfied. So for example, for plugging in for this equation, we want our r's to cancel out and 7 to equal 7, so the system is true. And then we can move on to checking the next equation. Our r's cancel out and then 35 equals 35. So we're going to try exactly that, and we're going to start by looking at equations that may make sense to plug in and look simple to plug in at first. So I see r's here for x's, so I'm going to plug in for each of these first and see if it works. So if we have r for x, we're going to plug in for this equation first. So we get 2 times r plus 3, and then plug in our y value, which is this. 2 over 3r plus 7 over 3 is equal to 7. So we get 2r plus 7 is equal to 7. So 4r plus 7 is equal to 7. We have r's left over, so we're going to eliminate that answer choice. And now we're going to try this one. So we have 2 times r plus 3 times negative 3r over 2 plus 7 over 2 is equal to 7. So you get 2r minus 6r over 2 plus 21 over 2 is equal to 7. This will give us negative r plus 21 over 2 is equal to 7, which is also a leftover r. So we're going to eliminate that answer choice. Now we have r here as a y point, so I'm going to pick that since it seems easier to plug in than this messy looking point. So we're going to stick with b for now and see if it works. So we have 2 times our x point of negative 3 over 2r plus 7 over 2, and then plug in our y point of 3 times r, and that's going to be equal to 7. So now plugging or simplifying, we get negative 3r plus 7 plus 3r is equal to 7. So our r's cancel out, and 7 is equal to 7. That is correct. Now we can plug in for our second equation right here and see if that also suffices. So we have 10 times our x point of negative 3r over 2 plus 7 over 2 plus 15 times our y point of r is equal to 35. Simplify down, we get a 5 here for that, and this. So that's going to be negative 15r plus 35 plus 15r is equal to 35. And these cancel out, we get 35 is equal to 35. So this is our answer B, since both of these conditions are met. Question 26. In the given equation, C is a positive constant. Which of the following is one of the solutions to the given equation? So let's look at our equation for a second. If we're looking for a solution, that means we're solving for x. So I see a common denominator here for both of these. So I'm going to move this over here, and we're going to get x squared minus c squared over the square root of x squared minus c squared is equal to 39. Now, we need to get rid of the square root in the denominator if we are going to solve. So the way we can do that is you can think of this as to the power of 1, and this as to the power of 1/2 in the bottom. So let me make that easier to visualize. So now you could think of these two, the numerator and the denominator, as simply just one term, like a to the 5 over, let me say it as x to the 5 over x to the 2. You know that that can simplify down to x to the 3 because it's 5 minus 2. So same with this. You can subtract 1 minus 1/2, and you can get x squared minus c squared to the 1/2 is equal to 39. And we know that if we write that in this form. It will be the same, and now we square both sides, and we get x squared minus c squared is equal to 39 squared, which is 1,521. But if we look at our answer choices, 39 squared is in all of them, so we're actually not going to simplify 39 squared. We're going to keep it as is, but we are going to try and solve for x squared. So x is equal to 39 squared plus c squared. So x is going to be equal to square root, really plus or minus the square root of 39 squared plus c squared. So we have two options to go with, positive of our answer and negative of our answer. And looking at the answer choices, we only have the negative option available. If there was an answer choice like square root of c squared plus 39 squared, that would also be correct. But negative or positive is correct, so D is still a valid answer choice since it also does specify one of the solutions. Okay, moving on to our last question, 27. So we have the quadratic function g models the depth in meters below the surface of the water of a seal t minutes after the seal enters the water during a dive. The function estimates that the seal reaches its maximum depth of 302.4 meters 6 minutes after it enters the water, and then reaches the surface of the water 12 minutes after it enters the water. So 302 is the maximum depth, 6 minutes after, and then 12 minutes it reaches the surface again. Based on the function, what is the estimated depth to the nearest meter of the seal 10 minutes after it entered the water? Okay, so how I'm visualizing this is a parabola. You have a quadratic function, so visualize this as the surface, but really just as a straight plane. And we are starting from the surface, reaching our minimum height, or maximum depth, I should say, of 302, and that occurs at 6 minutes. And then we're coming back up to the surface at 12 minutes, and this will obviously be 0, 0. So you can use graphing technology to find this, or you can construct the equation yourself, and I'm going to do it that way for the purpose of this video. So we're going to have the formula y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k, and this is your formula for a quadratic, and we know that point hk is your vertex, so we are given our vertex here, so we can plug in for a and k, or h and k, sorry. So we get x minus 6 squared plus 302.4. And now we just need to find our a, which we can do by plugging in values. And I'm going to plug in 0, 0 since it's an easy value to solve for. So we get 36a is equal to, I'm going to move the 302 to that side, so negative 302.4. So now we divide by 36. So we get 302.4 divided by 36. That is going to give us a is equal to negative 8.4. So y is equal to negative 8.4 times x minus 6 squared plus 302.4, and it's asking the estimated depth 10 minutes in. So we have y is equal to negative 8.4 times 10 minus 6 squared plus 302.4. 4. So y is going to be equal to 4 squared times 8.4. It's negative. So we have negative 134.4 plus 302.4. And this is going to give us an answer of 168, which will be your answer for this question. I hope these problems really helped you learn something at least, and please take away some of these strategies when you take practice tests on your own or when you take the real test on your own. And I'll see you guys on practice test number 9 in the next video.